Frank V, and I made the film Tiger Tail in Blue in 2011. It sat for about a year after I finished it. Nobody would play it. And it got nominated for a Gotham Award for Best Film Not Playing in a Theater Near You. And then it started getting weird little legs, and now it's here in Boston.
What was your main inspiration behind this film, particularly?
The idea for this movie came to me at once when I bumped into Rebecca at a farmer's market, and I had been previously asked to play her husband in a movie, and I thought I couldn't do it. And when I saw her, I realized she's not taller than me. She could totally be my wife. Like, that's okay. Also, her daughter had like a little stuffed armadillo at the time, and it reminded me, and she had an eye infection also, and it reminded me how shitty it was to be a kid, like how terrible that was, because you can't reach anything and everybody knows more than you. So that's why in the movie I'm writing a book about past experiences.
What's it like directing and acting?
It's way easier, because I know what I mean, you know? And if you're directing the scene too, you can, I just spiked, it sucks. Spiked camera. If you're directing the scene and you're acting in it, you can set a mood, a tone, just by sitting in these chairs. You know, like this could be really uncomfortable. You know, or I can make this really uncomfortable between me and you, or I could be telling you to make it uncomfortable. But if I'm sitting here, I'm already doing it. You know.
I've heard a lot of people describe your films as a look at real life. Mm-hmm. Is that what you were going for?
No, no, not at all. I think that's something that's said, and I think that's great, you know, like slice of life, and it's so natural and all this stuff, but in writing about it like that, you sort of lose the poetry of it. Naturalism, there's no poetry in that. There's no reason to make that narrative, I think. I don't know if that's true. I'm going for naturalism in the scene, but the overall scope of the film, no. Like there's, an artistic point to it.
Has the process changed over the course of all the films you've made?
Yeah, the process changes due to the project. It's what you have when you do it. Like for Audrey, it was the first time I actually had money to spend, so I got to like fly people in and do stuff. I got to bribe people to shoot places where I usually have to steal it or ask for a huge favor from them. Hohokam, we shot like in 7 days in Arizona, and I was the only crew. The actors wore lobs. It was all rigged up to the camera, and I shot it, and that was it. A process gets dictated, but it's really just having to fix the problem of the day, you know? I think you have to enjoy making films on every level, you know? Because even if your budgets get bigger and bigger, there's nothing to say you're not going to make another $5,000 movie when you're 50. What interests me are the small things, you know? Somebody saying, oh, that looks so good on you. You know, those are the things that are interesting to me, you know? Stubbornness is interesting to me. You don't need a big budget to be stubborn, you know? People who are dicks are really interesting to me, but you don't need a big budget to do that.
What is the biggest challenge of making the kind of films you make?
Getting people to see them is probably the biggest hurdle to overcome. Getting them in front of an audience.
Do you have any advice for aspiring filmmakers?
Yeah, probably lots. Independent filmmaking just seems to be the one medium where people think they can hit a home run right up, just like first up to bat. And I feel like if I would have torn up my first script, I'd be about 5 years ahead of where I am now. My first film was shot on VHS and SVHS. Do you know what SVHS is?
No.
No, they used to make that. It was super VHS. So I think you can't think you can be precious with your material right at first. I don't think you should ever be precious with your material, but you should always know how to improve and how to work on things. But at the same time, see, this is why it's not good advice. At the same time, a lot of people show shit that's not done, like scripts that aren't finished, short films that aren't finished to too many people, and then they get all these opinions, and they never figure out what the right thing to do is by them. So so here's some advice. Get used to being alone. Like, work on it alone. Edit your film until you don't even know what you're looking at anymore. I can't tell if this is good, bad, the images are just going across my face. Now I need fresh eyes.
Thank you so much for joining us today. This was great. Thank you.
Oh, no, it was fun. I killed some time.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Shouldn't one of the cameras be off so that black and white, shaky, off to the side? You know those?
Yeah.
No, those died in '99.
We're bringing it back.
We can't bring it back.